Hello everybody and welcome back to the Healthy Orange Movie Reviews, the show where we bring you film criticism that is honest, insightful, and, not least of all, fun. I'm your host, Bennett Campbell Ferguson, and I have my wonderful panel of film enthusiasts here today, starting with Maxwell Myers.
Excelsior!
Well done, sir.
That's all
Enough said.
I like that enthusiasm.
Yes.
Also, we have Allie Bolt.
I saw a movie called Wolf Cop last night, and it is everything you would expect from that title.
I've never heard of it, but I like the
That says it
title.
all right there.
I have heard of it.
Cops. Also joining us, Patrick Bellin.
Hi, I just like talking about movies.
I'm with you there.
That's solid.
And Mo Shawnette.
Hi, I still don't believe I'm in frame.
I promise you, you can check if you want though.
Alright. Take your word for it.
Alright, we're gonna kick it off by talking about Avengers Age of Ultron.
Ooh, we've never done that before.
I know, this is kind of a new thing.
What's this
You
movie?
got
I've never heard of it. Is there something I should see before this one?
Tiny indie, it costs under
How
$1
old
million.
is Ultron?
So, just a quick little bit of backstory. About a month ago, Mo and I did a video, and Mo brought up the controversy surrounding how Black Widow was portrayed in the film. Me and Allie were talking, and we felt like this is a discussion we could continue. So,
Forever.
Allie, what would you say? I know you were super unhappy with what they did with her. What do you think is the worst thing about how she was handled in the movie?
I think the worst thing about the way that she was handled in the movie is just that there's so much potential there for her character that was never realized. When you and I were talking after we discussed the video, we talked a little bit about how, you know, in the comics, Black Widow actually has a very rich kind of backstory and history with Bucky Barnes, Winter Soldier, who was not in Age of Ultron at all. But they have a very kind of deep romantic relationship in that they kind of drew together while they were both in the Red Room. And the Red Room is something that has only been kind of vaguely mentioned in relation to the Black Widow in the movies so far, which creates a lot of interesting potential for backstory for her. There's also her really strong backstory with Clint Barton, who's Hawkeye, in that Hawkeye is the one who actually brought Black Widow in from the cold and kind of turned her over to the side of S.H.I.E.L.D. So my main qualm, I guess, with the way that it was handled is that it felt like her relationship with Bruce Banner was very much shoehorned in an attempt to create character development, when there was a lot of really deep potential there that was completely ignored.
I know what you mean, because I feel like one review I read said that relationship kind of modestly humanized the movie. And I feel like modest is the key word. Because it did give some depth, but it's like, when we think about really good character development that gives a great action movie a lot of power, like, that doesn't really even register as a blip. I feel
Right, and it was very much kind of told rather than shown, kind of. There was no real explanation of how she went from being afraid of him to having this huge crush on him. It was just kind of, well, here's Natasha, and now she has a crush on Bruce Banner, and
I like this girl.
it's super obvious to Clint's surprise wife.
I agree. I didn't get to be a part of the review, but that was one of my few critiques with that movie. I was just like, oh, apparently they like each other a lot. Like it didn't feel right. Like even in the last movie, you could tell that there was a connection, but in no way did it ever once, to me at least, feel romantic. It felt more like the first hand stretched out by S.H.I.E.L.D. to Bruce, and then it's like she had she had no idea of like what kind of power she was toying with when she first met him, and then she sees it, and it's like, I'm kind of scared, but we're friends. Like it never, but none of those feelings were like, I kind of want to do you. Like it's not like when you come back, I'm just like, it did feel. I can totally agree with the shoehorning.
Even if they wanted to kind of develop those two characters together, I would have much rather seen them grow to respect each other as people and work through the kind of awkwardness of their initial relationship and become friends first, rather than
something. Just, I mean,
yes,
as opposed to right in the middle of this awkward.
Yeah, it all felt very awkward.
One of I feel like the most iconic images from that relationship in the movie is when the Hulk is carrying her at the end, and like I feel like, you know, in addition to the relationship being kind of awkward, you know, there's definitely a sense that he's dominant. That, you know, and that's it seems like a little unbalanced and unfair to her character. Did you guys?
I wouldn't say that.
No.
Like because she's the one who wants the relationship. She's the one who wants to jump into this, and he's the one who's afraid of it. He's the one who's afraid of getting close to someone.
Also, he's totally cheating on Betty. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that is a big threat to ignore.
There are so
Yeah.
many like other ways that they could have gone. It's like,
Yeah.
but no.
Yeah, there's
Wow.
something. There, that was a weird one.
Mhm.
I do think that the scene you're talking about where he carries her off, I think that's, and I might catch flack for this. I know there's a lot of, you know, like, oh, women should be portrayed as strong. They don't need a man. I'm like, I don't think that's it. I think sometimes a woman can use a man, and when you're passed out, dying on the ground, who cares who scoops you up, whether it's a man or a woman? I know, and I'm like, sometimes it's okay. It's not being, you know, the damsel in distress when you're completely unconscious. You're just
Yeah.
the
you
body
can,
on the ground.
You can still be the quote unquote strong female character.
That just
just at
sometimes
times.
needs, exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, and I feel like she is kind of, just as you say, she's pushing a lot of things. When she's kind of the human, she's kind of at the advantage because she could kill Bruce Banner maybe in an instant by snapping his neck. But then he turns into the monster and now she's kind of the weak one in a sense. And so that's kind of a balance you get from that. And I can kind of see why they now put them together now that I'm saying this.
I still can't.
I don't like it. I'm not saying I
I get it. I definitely get it.
I really enjoyed a lot of things about Age of Ultron, and I really didn't enjoy a lot of other elements about it. But I think you know, aside from what I think of the movie, like in terms of its quality, in terms of whether it was a good film or not, I am bothered, you know, by the fact that she went from being a character, you know, as you said before, Mo, last time, whose story was all about the mission, to a character who needs to be rescued, etc., etc., etc. And keep in mind that, you know, these criticisms, we could say the same thing really about any mainstream Hollywood movie. You know, there are, I mean, this is often the role that female characters in these movies are relegated to. So this isn't just about Age of Ultron. But Age of Ultron is not just any movie. Except for maybe The Force Awakens, this is maybe the movie that the most people in the world are going to see this year. So I'm wondering, do you guys think that changes it at all because of the power that Kevin Feige and Joss Whedon had? Do they, in a sense, have a responsibility to transcend the cliches and show us something that's a little more progressive?
I would.
Yes and no.
Yeah. Like it's. You said that, like you said, it's this. These are complaints that you can level against a bunch of mainstream Hollywood features, and that doesn't mean they're not worth getting upset about. But that means realizing that, questioning, is Age of Ultron special in this regard, and we should hold it to a higher standard, especially when it's something that's got so much attention, especially when Joss Whedon has been outspoken feminist with his work, with what he's talked about in the media. So it is important to put a lens to this. It is important to critically analyze this. Oh God, what's the phrase? It's important to critically analyze this, as it is with most any art.
But to go back to your question, Ben, I mean, I hate the conversation of, oh, well, this company is really big, so they have a responsibility to do X thing that so many people want them to do, because it is a business and they are doing their job and putting out a product. But I think also, when you do have so many people viewing that product, and when you build all of that hype leading up to the product, and when you have a large segment of the population who's vocally telling you that they want something like a Black Widow-centric movie, and then you do something like this, I think you just kind of have to naturally expect that a lot of people are going to be unhappy about it. So my point of view is almost, well, why did nobody who was in the test audience point out that, you know, people might not like this?
Yeah.
And who kind of sat there and was like, nope, it's great, like, send it out to everybody. I mean, I have a hard time imagining that with all of the eyes that were on this project and all of the people that were involved and everybody that was working on it, that nobody kind of sat back and was like, this might not be the right direction that we're going in.